Magic Makers. I'm Mavirella.
I'm Yukita Cosplay.
And I'm CJ Peterson. Welcome to Magic Making Mischief. Today we have lots of fun stuff planned for today, but before we get started, get your wands to the ready because we solemnly swear we're up to no good. And speaking of up to no good, we actually have a guest who's normally in our chat with us. We have Geek Cred with us, aka Ryan. Hi, Ryan.
Hello.
Hi, Brisha. Ryan brought with him some trivia questions as well as some advice on how to go to cons on a budget. Today we're going to start with how to do cons on a budget, though. Jeremy says hello, everyone. Hey, Jeremy. Today we're going to start with how to do cons on a budget. So let's get down to it. Unless you want to say something first, Jeremy. Yes, no?
Oh, you said Jeremy, not Ryan.
Sorry, Ryan.
Oh, you did say Jeremy?
I did say Jeremy. Sorry, Jeremy.
Wait, what?
I love trivia.
Okay, not all of our hats are all the way on today, guys. That's fine.
Wait,
Yeah,
we had a lot happening. Speaking of con season, it has begun, obviously.
By the way,
And-
we're all kind of drained already.
Yeah, we had Connie Woods a few weeks ago. We have Dick
so
come last week. Yukita.
We got Retropalooza coming up, Kimo Kawaii coming up. Yeah, so Spanish Fidel's coming up. Yeah.
Jeremy's looking like, was I on there?
It's a sign. Okay. It's a sign. Okay. But yes, so this is the time that we need to start looking at cons on a budget.
Before we start.
I'd just like to say, before we get into the PowerPoint, so last time I was on, I think I explained it back then, but so I started doing this panel at conventions called Hacking Your Hobbies, and it's all about just how to do all your hobbies on a budget and stuff. And the most popular part of it is how to do cons on a budget, because as summer's coming up, everybody wants to do as many things as possible, but cons are just so expensive, especially if you bring your family with you. It can cost anywhere from $500 to $1,000 easy for each con.
Right.
So I've just developed all these tips that I can give to people on how to stretch your budget and do as many of these conventions as you can within your means.
Awesome. Yeah. I did go through some of these, and a lot of these are really good. And I know that we can all three add some parts to it as well.
Indubitably.
Definitely. Okay, we'll start with hacking your hobbies. Go for it, Ryan.
All right. Go to the first panel in the thing. Next one. Next one. So these are the outline of what I'm going to go over. It's basically buying passes as early as possible, book hotels as early as possible, bring your own food, buy parking in advance, sell stuff you get there. All right. Next panel.
That way.
Other way. All right. So the first tip I can give to anybody is the second tickets go on sale, buy them then. That's typically legitimate wise the cheapest way you're going to get a pass. The second they come out, usually they have early bird specials. The only thing that is a negative about it is they are typically, for most conventions, non-refundable. So once you pay, you're never going to get that money back typically.
But you can usually save a lot of money in doing so.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The closer you get, the higher they tend to go.
And some conventions will send you a physical pass in the mail. And then some will give you a printout. And I've actually been able to buy passes on Facebook, and that'll come up in another panel. But if you can't go to a convention like Anime Matsuri, Comic Palooza, you can typically recoup some of your money if you sell the passes that you paid for, if you can't go that weekend. So
Works Hard is also with us. Hi, Works Hard.
I have one question because it's in my head. I have one question. On the first panel that talked about selling stuff to get there, what is this?
Oh, that's the last thing. Hold on.
I think that
the last.
Okay. Okay.
Selling things that you get at the convention.
Yeah. We'll come to that one.
Like I was saying earlier, typically the week or two before the convention starts, there's tons of people for the bigger conventions selling their passes because life comes up, they can't go. So like last year for Comic Palooza, I got Saturday passes for me and my daughter, 2 of them for $40. Way cheaper than what I would pay at the door. So
crazy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Volunteering, doing street team, or hosting a panel are a good way to get a free pass. I'm not really I haven't done volunteering in a very long time. CJ, if you have any advice, because I know you do a lot of cons and run those kind of things.
I do. First of all, Works Hard says, wow, what a great deal regarding your $40. This is huge. Volunteering, doing street team, or hosting a panel is a great way to get a free pass. Volunteering is huge. We're always looking for volunteers, especially for the smaller cons. I know that in handling the floor in the cons that I do, a lot of times I'll let my people roam. Sometimes I have to have them watch certain doors, but I tend to rotate them, especially if I know that they want a specific person's autograph. I'll let them roam so they can go get in line for that person. Or if there's a certain panel that I know they want to see, I'll let them roam to kind of make sure that they go see that panel specifically. They tend to let me know that, hey, I want to do this or I want to do that. I'm like, okay, no problem. I can make sure to rotate you in that specific spot, and it gets them in the door, and they don't have to pay for it because they're volunteering. A lot of times the volunteer, when they come in, as long as they're working their tail end off, and my volunteers do work, no doubt about it, they work their tail ends off. Sometimes it's a boring job. Sometimes it's literally watching a door. Sometimes it's watching entrances and exits to make sure that people don't sneak in that don't have passes. Sometimes it's making sure just to make sure that everybody does have a pass that walks through that door. Sometimes it's making sure people don't have sticky fingers to make sure that vendors don't get ripped off. Sometimes it's making sure to watch the lines to make sure that everybody stays in a line and nobody line jumps or cuts somebody else off. There's various things that vendors or that volunteers can do, but volunteers are uber important in Comic-Cons.
They are, and I love the small cons, especially because even volunteering, you feel like you're part of the family because it's all such a tight-knit group. Everybody helps each other out, so it definitely has that feel to it. The smaller cons, and so volunteering at those is so much fun.
Do you think all volunteers are vetted? Sometimes not. When it comes to the specific volunteers that are with the guests, there are only certain volunteers that I will let sit with the guests. So those specific volunteers that are with the guests, personally, they are only ones that I trust. So they're ones that I
more likely to be vetted in that case. Yeah.
Yes.
Security is usually vetted at most conventions.
Yes, security is vetted. We actually have police officers that are at our cons when it comes to security. So, but when it comes to actual volunteers, they usually get fed. So they get free lunch. Sometimes they get a breakfast. Sometimes we give them donuts for breakfast. They work hard. When it comes to working with the guests, though, there's only specific ones that I will let work with the guests. Usually,
and you usually get a T-shirt for each con you volunteer at too.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But sometimes they get signatures, free autographs. For the last one, they got picture taking and an autograph with, what was it, Troy Landry. So sometimes they get free autographs, sometimes they get free pictures. It just depends. There's a lot of different perks that you get as a volunteer, and you get them free. So there's a lot of things that you can do as a vendor or as a volunteer. And the best part is you don't have to pay to get in. You work your tail off, but you get in free.
Also, I know I started doing my thing, and I didn't realize that I could offer to do media or press. And that's something like look through if you have a YouTube channel or you're a content creator at all, and you like to go do this kind of thing and share it out with your audience. Contact them, look at their page. Usually they'll have media or press on there, and ask them, if they'd be interested in having you cover the event, and you can come up and share it out, which is awesome because a lot of
Media
times
is
you'll.
vetted, though.
Hmm?
Media is vetted.
Yep.
Yeah, they will want to see your
Oh.
content. Usually, they'll want you to post on a regular basis a certain amount, and sometimes they'll ask for how many followers you have and things like that. Obviously, but if you're regularly posting, and it's especially if it's in line with the content that you're looking to cover for it, sometimes they'll even be a little more lenient on how many followers you have too. If you're growing your channel, it's obvious you're working on it. But yeah, they will want to see your stuff.
A lot of it just
Mine.
depends on what con you're working with too.
Oh
Grace
yeah,
just-
absolutely.
Yay!
Right. Lunch.
James says hi. Hi, James.
I was gonna
Mark
say
says-
my girlfriend has a small blog called Sushi Rainbow, and she mostly reviews anime and manga. She doesn't have too many followers, but she's been able to get several media passes to Anime Matsuri and some of the bigger cons. So if you have a small YouTube channel or a small blog, don't let its size deter you from trying to apply to get a media pass.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, my first one was Comic Conroe, and I had just rolled over into my first 1,000, I think, and that was huge at that point for me. But yeah, and now it seems like that wasn't as big as now, but like it was. They saw what I was doing and they invited me out, so it was really cool. I think that was a
And
group effort.
you can make a lot of connections too. And
True.
those connections, if you remember them, and you can reach out and connect with them later, they can help you later on in the game, so to speak.
And you never know where that'll lead to at some point.
Exactly. This is funny. Don't buy passes off the homeless guys at the Discovery Green Park.
I did that once when I was younger.
No.
I don't recommend it.
Really?
Why?
What?
The
Bad
desperation
decision.
was real.
Bad decision. Anyways,
Well,
next one.
You
What
only
did
do
we
it
learn?
once. Don't
We
buy
learned
passes
that we
off
can't
I'm
trust.
hoping that
We
this
also
comment,
learned-
that's where you met Jeremy Vanders, was meant to be at Comic Conroe and not at the green homeless guy at the Discovery Green Park.
I think
also learned
she meant it
that
at Comic
$2
Conroe
drinks at
on that.
happy hour.
Not the
No. That's where you met Jeremy Vander.
I think that might have been referring to Comic Conroe.
Comic Conroe. What did I just walk that? Bro.
I think the conversations crossed.
My dude.
Mark Hart says I have a fridge for sale. Talk to me after. Just kidding.
To be fair, I had just gone to happy hour, so I blame $2 drinks for that.
Oh no.
Anyways,
Oh no.
Screens. When getting a hotel booking as soon as you know the con date is the best way to get a good price. Positively.
like I said last time I was on here, so I usually have a trick where before I know when the exact date is, I'll book all the weekends that con is usually the month that con is usually at, and then once they announce the firm date, I'll cancel the rest of the weekends.
It's a neat trick. I had never thought of that before. Actually, we were talking about that the other day, but the problem is some of them will switch within 2 months, and that's a lot to have to deal with booking every weekend in those 2 months to figure it out.
But I find the savings make it worth it. Like if you go to the next panel.
Hold on a second. Jeremy says, I do something at work and come back to this. Poor guy. And works hard. Says happy hour has gotten me a few times.
Oh.
Sorry, had to finish that off before we headed into the next one.
So I was going to show an example of getting a room really cheap using that tactic. So this is for Anime Matsuri in about a month or so. That's how much I paid. $100, $50 a night. for the Hilton of Americas, downtown Houston.
All right.
Nice. Wow.
Yep. But like I
That's
said,
nice.
it is a little bit of work, and it is kind of hard to pull off. And like I said, I also use a friend's friend and family discount to get that. So it's just a combination of those two techniques, of those two things. Yep. And
if you've
as
got,
soon,
I was gonna say also, if you've got like, if you've got anything like we have like comfort and in suites where, you know, if you book so many times, you get like a free stay.
Mhm.
If you have those are great to use as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Brisha says also being nice to the workers might get you an upgrade. True.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
going the cheapest route is not the best. Be very careful where you stay. Just because something's cheaper, it and close to the con, just be leery. You know, that's
We
all to say.
used
I think I
to.
told them. Yeah.
I was say my husband used to only want to stay at Motel 6 because it was the cheapest, and he'd be like, "Well, they keep the light on for you." I said, "You know why they keep the light on for you, right?"
Oh,
But
And you can see
Road-
also,
But
can
we've
I just
actually-
say, as a spoiled princess cosplayer, that I don't like the idea of staying in anything that is under 4 stars, and it's because I've seen things. I grew up watching America's Most Wanted. I have seen dirty sheets. I have seen dirty floors. I have seen a lot of dirty things in hotels, and I'm just not. I'm very particular about it,
Yeah.
and my husband knows better. And so he literally will be like, "Okay, this is what I have booked for us. Are you okay with it? These are what the pictures look like, the reviews." Like, he goes through me to make sure that Princess Me is okie dokie with it. Otherwise, I'm like,
We've learned to look for certain standards that we like at convention or at hotels now too. So we've gotten a lot more picky since the Motel 6 days.
Me too.
Brisha wants to
Your
know
recommendations
recommendations from the homeless guy for the hotel.
Maybe. Is that what that was?
Yeah. And Workshire wants to know even the 4 and 5 stars can be suspect too.
True.
True.
Yeah.
You have to go off
True.
a
I've
mixture
gotten
of
bad
things.
bugs
Name
from
one
Hilton's
hotel
before.
that
Yeah.
failed Trey and I horribly.
Yeah.
We Lysol our rooms from top to bottom, no
Ever
matter
since
what.
COVID, some of the standards have gone down.
It shows.
Yeah.
Some of the hotels have kind of switched, and so you got to be very careful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was bad. Like, we
Hampton
had
Inns
one room
have
that had a
dropped-
tub
quality's
that was
dropped.
clearly used.
Yeah.
All right.
The
Things
ring
to look
around
for
the
in a
tub was
good
there,
hotel
and I'm
room.
like, oh.
Things to look for in a good hotel room: distance from the con, number of people you can sleep in it. Free. I highly recommend any hotel that does like a free breakfast or like an evening reception. You save so much money doing that. Make sure it's a room with like a microwave, a mini refrigerator. I really like staying at home with suites because they have like a full kitchen with stovetop, utensils, plates, and having those kind of things, especially if you have a lot of people with you, saves you so much time and money when it comes to food. Do they have a free shuttle? A lot of hotels out there have a limited distance free shuttle. So if you are, say, staying at a hotel that's like 5 miles away from a con, see if they have a free shuttle. That way, you don't have to spend money on parking. And yeah.
I'm going to hit back
and
on this one again, this sore point from last year's Comic Palooza. I know everybody's heard this a lot, but we stayed at, what was it, the Hilton, because the Sky Bridge, and we wanted to be able to go straight back and forth across. And because after 2020, I guess they changed it or something. I don't know. But they closed down the Sky Bridge every night about 10 o'clock or something crazy. And the lady who was security even told us, she goes, "Oh, yeah, you got to walk through the street to get back to your hotel. I'd be careful if I were you." I'm like, "Oh, I'm so glad I paid the extra
Yeah.
for the Sky Bridge Hotel now.
Dishonor on her and her cow.
Stayed at the Texas Pool Hotel for cheaper."
Dishonor on her, dishonor on her cow.
I was not happy that year. So yeah, like make sure you keep an eye on those kinds of things that are
I was
important
walking
to
with
you.
you when that was happening.
It was not funny.
For real.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I've seen so many
Sorry, same
younger
turkey.
people. I've seen so many younger people go to cons and they think like $20 will feed them for like the whole weekend. Yeah, save it. Especially if you're going up there and going to be buying food at the con, save money up for it because food's expensive at any convention. It's never going to be cheap. It's always going to be way pricier than anywhere else. Save your money up. Look for stuff in the area. Even when you're in somewhere like, say, downtown Houston, there are going to be places nearby within walking distance where you can get something cheap to eat. Like in downtown Houston, they have the Phoenician grocery store that's about a half mile away from the con or the convention center, and you can typically get like a reasonably priced meal there. There's also a bunch of like restaurants that have happy hours. There's a Saltgrass at the GRB that has a pretty good happy hour there, like half off appetizers and stuff like that. So just do your due diligence and look for things before you get up to the con. That way you're not spending like $50 on a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
For real.
Exactly.
It was 12. Thank you.
For food, I usually have rewards to try to accumulate for the year for cons.
You know what's sad about that? I'm gonna put this out real quick because I mentioned Chick-fil-A. What's sad about that is the fact that if you do the Chick-fil-A's, like say at Comic Palooza, they don't do the points. You can't redeem your points for that. So no free Chick-fil-A sandwich for you. I learned the hard way and had to pay for a $12 sandwich. I
Right.
love
Oh,
Chick-fil-A.
that's
You
cheating.
always know, but I'm just saying that was like a ripoff. But I'm okay.
Super Hubby says Dollar Tree is great for snacks as well.
I always have an ice chest that we take with us if we're going to be there for a full weekend and just fill it up with healthy snacks. Now healthier than they used to be. I know Yukita used to get on to me because there was a lot more sugar than healthy snacks before.
Sustenance. You need sustenance.
Food.
Girl would eat
Protein.
like cheese puffs or like cheese balls or whatever and be like, I'm okay for the whole day. And I'm like, girl, no, you're not. Go get some beef jerky. You need protein. She's like,
I normally don't recommend DoorDash, but DoorDash are like any app where you can have the
Uber
groceries
Eats. That's
delivered.
what I use.
Yeah. So DoorDash is, especially if you're buying for a whole bunch of people at once, just split a large meal, ship it for the tip, and it's cheaper than buying something there.
Oh, and for those who don't know, thank you.
You
For
too.
those who don't know, did you know that you can do a group order on DoorDash?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Just send a little link out to whoever else you're going to be doing a thing with, and they can pay for their portion, and all of it can be like put together. Yeah.
Nice.
For those who are listening, Brisha says, Yukita, I love your ears. She has
you.
a set of cat ears on.
They're not cat ears, they're fox ears, they're pointy.
Sorry.
Foxy lady.
That's fox ears. You can bring your food with you in a cooler if you drove, which is what Mombi was talking about. Coffee pot
If you're staying at
ramen
Is
a
a
hotel
proud
room.
non-tradition.
Coffee pot ramen. Man, I used to do that in college.
Oh, don't forget the what's it called? The mini mac and cheese cups.
Yeah.
Boom, baby.
Works hard, says Foxy.
Hey.
So this next one doesn't really apply to a lot of the smaller cons or stuff, but if you go to like the bigger cons like South by Southwest or PAX or like San Diego Comic-Con, a lot of times those bigger cons will have like industry support and they'll have like studios out there giving away free swag and stuff. A lot of times those things that you find, they're not sold in stores, and you can actually get those and then flip them once you're home. And I've actually made quite a bit of money doing that with like stuff I've gotten at PAX South, RTX, South by Southwest. Just on little like cheapy swag things they give out. And these are some of the pictures.
you're saying
Jeremy
swag.
said, just make use. There is no coffee in the pot. I think he said. I think it's
Yeah, I've made that mistake
there's
before.
no coffee in the pot before.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Could you imagine?
Actual coffee
flavored
ramen, no.
Coffee
I like-
with cheese.
But like those little pins that are on the screen, I got a bunch of those from PAX South when that was going on, and I was able to flip those sets for like $100 on eBay. But it contributes to you, like what you've spent going up there. Oh yeah, that doesn't really apply to this one, but yeah. And the best tip I can give to anybody going to a con is don't be one of those people that buys a $70 day pass and only is intending on going up for like 2 hours, 3 hours. If you're gonna spend the money to go to a convention, stay there the
Especially big
whole
ones.
day. Get your money's worth.
That part.
You know,
Right.
yeah.
Well, and there's so much going on, even the smaller ones, because they'll have panels all day. The guests will be at their tables at different times. There's,
There's usually
all the
concerts
vendors
at
and stuff.
night.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then also, like you'll have different cosplayers and stuff coming through, and you'll miss those fun little moments if you don't kind of stick around and just enjoy it.
Wow.
Okay, now Bree says, "I'm sorry, I stay as long as my anxiety can handle it." You know what, Bree? I'm
I
with
get
you.
that.
Let's stay till like, especially for the bigger cons, like
Yeah.
Dallas Fan X, like 1 o'clock. We eat ourselves out of there. It's too many people.
Have to have a break in between sometimes. If you can take like a midday break and go out for lunch or go back to your hotel room, that's always a nice break in there too.
Yeah, my ADD goes haywire about 1 o'clock. There's just too many people, too much to look at. I can't.
There's a lot of disassociation that happens with me. I'll just stand there and stare.
Tony, you're just gonna.
Okay, we have 4. Jeremy says that's what lunch break is.
Yeah.
We have 4 trivia questions. Y'all ready?
All right, let's go quick.
Let's go.
Okay.
Okay.
So trivia question number 1. What weapon did the Scarecrow carry weird when he entered the Wicked Witch of the West Tower? We have 1, the Wand of the East, 2, the Scepter of the South, 3, the Sword of Oz, or 4, a gun.
A pew pew.
I don't know why I put weird in there.
Brisha says a broom, but that's not one of the options, Brisha.
I thought, I was thinking that
There's
too.
a wand, a
But
scepter, a sword, and a gun.
was this in the movie?
Yeah.
Yep, the movie, the Judy
says
Garland movie.
the
Okay, so
Sword
skipping
of
the word weird.
Oz. That is
What weapon did
incorrect.
Scarecrow carry when he entered the Wicked Witch? Oh, because we're thinking of when he went to the actual great and powerful, but like when he went into the witches, though. Oh, okay, hold on.
For heavy, also said go early, Sunday late, also good for lower crowds. We're in
Did
regards
anybody
to
get it yet?
I don't know. We need more guesses. We know
The
the
funny
number
thing
3
is,
is
I'm giving
incorrect.
hints. I've been giving
Okay,
hints.
if you have the answer, give us the answer because we're not doing prizes today. So what are the answers? I don't
The
know.
answer
Actually,
is a gun.
Yep.
he really had a gun.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did not remember this. How do
It's
I
a
not remember?
revolver.
Right
It's been a while since I've seen this movie.
He had a pew pew. Little
You
revolver.
think that would stick in my head?
Okay.
Where did he get a revolver in the movie?
I have no idea. Which of these is not a spell in the Harry Potter universe? Anybody want to try to potentially pronunciate
I'm not
these?
good at Latin. Does
I'm gonna
anybody
try
speak Latin?
Tarantalegra, Glycio, Orchidius, Ludifituste, and Geminio.
Okay. Anybody want to know? Anybody take a guess? You can just put 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Let's just make it easy. Take a guess. Brisha says 2. Incorrect. Anyone else want to take a guess? Come on, guys.
Orchideus sounds like something they'd use at the greenhouse, but I don't remember. I don't remember it being used. I don't know.
Jeremy says 5. Oh, Brisha says I'm failing today. No, Brisha, you're not failing today. Okay. The answer is this one, which translates to fooled you.
That's funny. Ludifasius.
Which of these is not a Marvel Comics villain or anti-hero? 1, the Tickler. 2, Asbestos Man. 3,
Asbestos.
4, Dr. Wrong. 5, none of the above are. Or 6, all of the above are. I used to hate tests that were like that.
Yeah, I should have written that different.
5, all of the above are. And I believe that Brisha is correct on that one. Go, Brisha.
Yeah.
Yes, Asbestos Man was a villain.
So,
Yeah, it's a villain in
I
real life too.
okay,
I thought
last
the
Human
tickler
Torch.
was from
question.
Mystery Men.
Which of these company names does not come from by Greek Roman mythology? 1, Nike. 2, Chevron. 3, Discord. 4, Saturn. 5, Trident. Or 6, Pandora.
Ooh, I'm between 2 on this.
We're on the next question, Squishy. He's still answering the other question.
Oh my goodness.
Aw. We're gonna answer quick on that
Sorry
one.
for
Hold
my
on.
grammar. I wrote these in like 20 minutes.
For those who are watching, I'm
wait, hold on.
giving hints.
Jeremy is correct. It is
Yeah,
Chevron.
this is
Chevron,
like this is a
Saturn,
French
or
word.
Prince.
So that was all of our trivia. We are actually overtime.
Oh,
So,
we are.
Ryan,
All right,
thank you
Mommy.
so much for joining us today. And thank you so much for bringing all of your brilliance with you, along with some trivia. They were very good. Thank you.
I was going to say, if anybody's going to Tokyo X or Anime Matsuri, I am going to be doing panels at those conventions coming up.
Yay. And he usually
Ryan,
has
this is
cool
Ryan's
prizes, so y'all don't miss that.
Next week we're going to have Miss Patricia Patz, aka Peppermint Patty, joining us. So make sure to stop by next week, same time, same sandbox. Monbirella, we are 2 minutes over, so please take us out.
All right, guys. So if you haven't had a chance to yet, make sure to smash that thumbs up and follow CJ Peterson on YouTube and Instagram, Mombirella on YouTube, and of course, Yakita Cosplay on Instagram, and follow them geeks on YouTube. Yes, thank you. And of course, Geek Cred Trivia. Thank you so much for joining us. Y'all check him out. He has lots of shorts that are awesome there. So, and until next time, guys, mischief managed.